Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Neota Network. I guess we can call them episodes. They're all presentations, but I know we're getting close to the end of day one of the Neota Network. And as is usually the case, we always leave some of the greatest stuff for the last. So this session actually is part of the law firm track, but really digs into a lot of aspects of building and use cases and is applicable to a really wide variety of people. So actually today we'll be hearing from Caroline Sweeney, and Caroline is the Director of Knowledge Management and Innovation at Dorsey and Whitney. And today, Caroline is going to walk us through the firm's approach to discovering the best use cases for Neota's no-code platform. And that includes sharing a few solutions that they've actually built and successfully deployed. So these sessions are always great because they ground everything practically, but as well, you hear about part of that journey and how everything is structured. So I will hand it over to Caroline to take it away, and can't wait to hear about it. Over to you, Caroline.
Thanks, Max. As Max indicated, I'm Caroline Sweeney, the Director of Knowledge Management and Innovation with the Dorsey and Whitney law firm based out of Minneapolis. And today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about our journey with Neota and how we have been identifying and implementing use cases for the Neota platform. And I'm just going to jump right into it. When we first brought the product in-house, and we were identifying use cases for Neota, what we started doing is looking at practice group expertise and where we could harness that information and create tools to essentially to serve as a marketing tool from our dorsey.com website. And like many, I think, other firms, we developed a tool called our screening application for, at the time, the pending California Consumer Privacy Act. And actually, we're in the process of updating this tool now. But it was probably our first firm-wide implementation of Neota. Now, the challenge around this has been that I think there's a little bit of fear still. It's a huge change management issue in terms of attorneys taking their expertise, packaging it, and making it available for clients, whether as a marketing tool or as on a subscription basis. So we decided we needed to look at other ways to generate ideas, innovative ideas that we could then use Neota or other tools that we have in-house to create or solve problems for clients or solve problems internally. So one way we've done that is by hosting what we call internal hackathon events, which are really more idea brainstorming events around the firm. And we've done, for the past 3 years, as you can see here, we've done a variety of different hackathon events. The first one in 2019, out of that event came the idea for a blind work allocation portal for junior associates. And this was an idea that was aimed at supporting not just associate retention, but also the equitable distribution of work and attention to diversity initiatives to make sure that all attorneys, all junior attorneys, got equal access to the same opportunities. And I think many of you are probably very well aware that this has become sort of a hot issue in the industry of late. And this is actually a tool that we've built within Neota. And that we have been in the process of rolling out in the last few weeks. The following year, we had a client-facing hackathon, and an idea that came out of there was a contract management solution that actually involved another platform that we have, Opus 2, and then also looking at how we can integrate with Neota to do actual document drafting, contract drafting with that with the two or manage that solution, if you will, between the two platforms. And then most recently, at the end of July, we hosted a third hackathon, and there the winning idea that came out of the hackathon was something around, again, piecing together various tools that we have, or integrating various tools that we have into a single service offering for transaction management. And Neota plays a part in that platform idea as we're starting to scope what that might look like. So I wanted to go back to that first idea that I mentioned, the blind work allocation platform, and just give you a sense of how we've built that out in Neota. So essentially, this is a string of applications that we've created. Junior associates go in and they access, or they create rather, a profile for themselves in the project opportunity portal. And this is just a selection of some of the content, but they're entering their name, what department they're in. Right now, we've only rolled this out to a single office. The plan is to eventually roll this out across the firm, because we want to make sure that associates, regardless of the office, have the opportunity to obtain skills and in different, regardless of the office that they work in. And I haven't listed them all here, but then this also gives the associates the opportunity to identify the skills that they need in progressing along the partner track, and the skills that they have achieved. And we use that information along with utilization that we feed into the platform, and the information about the potential jobs and the skills that those jobs are going to offer, to then do a blind matching process behind the scenes. So this is, as I said, the profile for the junior associate. And then this is a profile where I, as a senior associate or a partner who's looking for somebody, can actually post a project. And you can see I can not only add a new project, I can take a look at the projects that I've posted already and see the status of those projects. And I can look at projects that have been completed for me. And as I mentioned, you can see that I have a variety of information I can enter here in terms of things like when is this project due? How long do I think the project is going to take? A little description of the project. And then, as I mentioned, the skills that the applicant or the junior associate will achieve by performing this project. The application also includes, as I said, the behind the scenes, the logic to match the associates to the project opportunities and ensure a blind matching process. We have a project completion tracking, and then another important aspect of this tool as we were scoping it and building it out were these feedback loops. So as individuals go in and indicate that they've completed a project, automatic email notifications with a link to like 3 survey questions goes to the associates and to the partners, and feedback is then assembled and reviewed by department practice administrators that then make sure that feedback is given not only to the associates, but also to partners. And then another functionality that we're using or going to be using with this platform are dashboards, so that the practice administrators have a sense of who's going in, who's posting projects, what departments, what practice groups, which associates are applying, which associates are, which partners and senior associates are posting jobs. So all built in Neota. We're very excited for this product to roll out. Interestingly, around the same time that we developed the idea for the project opportunity portal for associate diversity issues or initiatives, we also had our pro bono practice group come to us and say that they would love to have some sort of a job board so that they could post pro bono opportunities that are available to folks, attorneys around the firm. We looked at both external and other internal solutions, and ultimately the pro bono group worked with my innovation team to develop a platform. And when you go to the Dorsey intranet, DorseyNet, there's a link to click on the pro bono opportunity portal, which brings you to this page. And then the attorneys have the ability to see all of the pro bono opportunities. They can even search those opportunities to look for, maybe they want trial experience or they're looking for some writing experience. And so they can get a sense of what opportunities might be available to them. And then if they want to apply for a job, they just check a box and they can go in, and the application rather is sent off to the pro bono administrator, who then connects them to the individual posting or leading the pro bono opportunity. And this just gives you a sense of what that looks like. If you hover over these, you can see information about the various tasks. You get an overview of the task. As I mentioned, you can search, tells you whether there are deadlines, what kind of a pro bono opportunity it is. If you're interested in only pro bono opportunities in a specific office, you can sort by location and identify those. So this has been very well received within our department. Again, we track statistics. We're reporting back to users in terms of who's accessing the portal and who's identifying opportunities through the portal. So we've had great success with this Neota tool that we've developed. As I indicated, and similar to the associate project opportunity portal, once you apply, you get an email thanking you for your interest and connecting you with the appropriate individual to make, to connect you and get you going on these opportunities. So in addition to talking to practice groups about how we can harness their expertise and create tools using or applications using Neota, and in addition to these firm-wide hackathon events where we've been looking more at developing almost, I would say, internal products or client-facing products, another way we've been identifying use cases is through an idea management platform that we rolled out in the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic started. And actually the idea for the idea management platform came out of our 2019 hackathon event. To date, 73% of those invited to participate from across the firm have joined our Idea Drop platform. So it's a very broad cross-section of associates, partners, attorneys at all levels, staff, management, etc. And we have posted a variety of challenges to different groups within the firm. And then those ideas are actually reviewed and vetted by the Knowledge Management and Innovation Committee. And we go through and we kind of do a red, yellow, green system. This is an idea that is already being implemented, so we're going to give it a yellow. This idea is interesting, but we really need more information before we can figure out if this is something that we would endorse pursuing. Or this is a great idea and we're going to give it a green and we want to find out more and we want to explore how we might actually implement this idea. For those items that are given a green light, the idea initiator is invited to come in and present to the KM and Innovation Committee and give us a little bit more detail about their idea. And then we again review, discuss the proposals, evaluate the potential ROI, and then any ideas that are greenlit after that process proceed to development. So this year we've dropped a couple of challenges. The first one was for associates, and it was really around, as you can see here, what their biggest headache was and how could we take administrative tasks off their plate so that they're freed up to focus on billable work. And we had a number of ideas come to us, but one of the, actually this was a runner-up idea that we've been pursuing, was around creating a knowledge base, essentially, a centralized knowledge base among the litigators in the firm for experience and anecdotal content around experience with specific judges, perhaps arbitrators, and maybe even experts, but we're starting with judges. And what we're doing is, as you can see, building this tool in Neota. And you come into the platform, you indicate what you want to do in the platform. If it's look up a particular judge, we'll have a list of the various judges. You can see here Peter Cahill, his photo where he's located. Obviously, this is dummy data. Homer Simpson is not a real judge. One of the ideas of or supporting reasons, I guess, for building out this knowledge base is that oftentimes what happens is people will send around emails. So we're trying to reduce email traffic. You know, if you've had experience before Judge Cahill, please reach out to me. We're also hoping to make sure that people have access to the information that is there. So maybe somebody sends that email around. If you've been before Judge Cahill, please reach out. I want to talk to you about your experience. And maybe I'm on vacation that week and I've got experience before the judge and I don't reach out. By having this internal knowledge base, we're able to then go to that knowledge base and see who specifically should I be talking to and what kind of experience, anecdotal experience do we have. As we're building this site out, and this is an idea that's in active development right now, but we're doing things like linking to the judge's bio, linking, for example, as you can see here, to their civil practice pointer. We're capturing information about who may have clerked for that judge and linking to their bio on Dorsey, our internal intranet site. We're giving the ability for people to enter their impressions and track that information. And then we're listing cases where we've actually been before that judge, so that all of that information is presented in one easy, simple interface. Again, searchable, printable, or exportable, but creating that knowledge base of information for our attorneys. And hopefully making that process of doing that due diligence around the judge more efficient. We subsequently also dropped a similar challenge for staff. And what can we do to help staff in making their jobs easier or more efficient, so that they're getting, they're asked to do more and more and have more and more people, more and more attorneys on their assignments. And the idea, actually very similar, that came out of this was developing an e-filing knowledge base. So we have a lot of expertise in with many legal assistants across the firm. Again, on the litigation side, very focused on e-filing. And what's your experience, or what are the best practices, the tips and tricks in filing, for example, in a tribal court or in Wisconsin federal court. So this idea is in the early stages of development. It again includes search functionality. It includes the ability for these internal identified experts to enter new information for various courts. We're including help resources so that it links not only to court e-filing sites, but it links to internal experts so that if you have questions, that there's somebody within the firm you can reach out to. But this is a very good, I think, training tool for new legal assistants, and for somebody that, at 10 o'clock with a midnight filing deadline, this can prove to be a very helpful resource. Another focus or use case with Neota that we've been actively exploring is around document automation. And we've been looking at various opportunities for that across the firm. I think a lot of firms are focused on document automation, and traditionally we've used hot docs in our trust and estates group, but we're really looking to expand our use of document automation. One of the ideas that again came in through Idea Drop, the idea management platform, was automation of our engagement letters. And so we currently, we have a list of multiple variations on engagement letters on our intranet. And what we're looking to do is take a subset of those and start automating them and build out, if you will, that experience. We've been also looking at internal process improvement in practice areas. So in one instance, we had to prepare a series of reduction in force letters for a client. It were series of standard letters. A quick turnaround was required, and we were able to build these letters out using Neota um, eh, automation and reduce the time spent preparing the letters. We've been looking at automating standard forms for specific practice groups. As I mentioned earlier, one of the ideas that came out of one of the hackathons was around automating contract drafting. And so we're exploring that. And then we're working on our e-discovery playbook. And we've also developed e-discovery workflow process tool, all using Neota. And in terms of client-facing needs, which is an area of focus for us as well, we're looking, for example, in how we might automate notification letters for incident response matters. So what we've learned during this whole process, actually identifying the use cases has not been all that difficult through the different avenues that we've been taking, but having a process around identifying those use cases, I think, is important. We've also learned that having dedicated resources dedicated to using Neota and developing our expertise within Neota is very much needed. And partnering with Neota has been hugely helpful for us. And so I would encourage people to make sure you budget for the support if you need it. We have found, for example, partnering with Neota and helping us with building out this project opportunity portal for our associates around the diversity initiative has been critical. They've been hugely helpful to us in making that logic work and in helping us vet the platform. I think one of our biggest challenges at times is harnessing the internal expertise and knowledge to move these tools along so that we can actually get them developed and get them implemented. And as I mentioned early on, the whole change management around let's harness your attorney expertise and put it into a tool that can be sold to clients is something that is something that we're still working on, I guess I would say. It's also been really helpful with us to partner with other internal resources, not just our KM and innovation committee to provide support, but our IS team or the marketing team or our legal project management team. So being aware of where we need to partner and build relationships to help move these tools and develop these tools and get them implemented is critical. And then development, as I said, of client-facing tools is both a focus, but a change management process. But we have been very lucky in our implementation of Neota, and we plan on continuing to leverage the tool and further invest resources and functionality, build functionality for developing our internal efficiencies and products. So with that, Max, I'll turn it back to you, and thank you very much for the opportunity to share what we've been doing and what we've learned.
Thank you so much, Caroline. That was really fantastic. You know, it's always great to complement a lot of the journey and how you see Neota in your toolbox as one of the tools in your toolbox, but also practically understand some of those use cases that you built and put out. So thank you so much for sharing today. And thank you to everyone who's joined us, not just on this session, but as well for day one of the Neota network. We have a lot of great content coming in day two, so be sure to subscribe to more presentations if you haven't already. If there's anything in particular that's caught your eye, feel free to join on that too. And then as well, If you'd like to replay some of this content, because this is a perfect example of one of the presentations that I think is going to be a lot useful for people throughout the year as they're budgeting, as they're looking to leverage the tool for more things, if they're looking to get inspiration for new use cases, that we will be sending some links around for replays that you can share with your network as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you again to Caroline, and we look forward to seeing you in day 2 of the Neota Network.